Hey everyone, just to let you know, I will be going on vacation for 12 days towards the end of this month. So I won't be responding to anyone in the comments and on the Discord, as I want this to be time to spend with my family. But don't worry, the regular Friday upload will continue as regular, as I am working on extra videos to have ready for when I'm gone. Anyway, thanks for your time. Now let's get into today's video. Last time, we saw James ascend Mount Pyre, but he wasn't alone, as Domino ordered Butch to catch up with James to establish a base on Mount Pyre. After battling Team Aqua and its leader Archie, Butch was furious with James, as he had handled majority of Team Aqua by himself. As a result, James, not knowing Butch had been demoted, he lost Weezing to Butch, then was ordered to pursue Team Aqua. We then saw Jesse heading to Sootopolis City, but was stopped on a mysterious island to camp for the night. But they were being watched by a mysterious individual. Now, let's see who or what it is in today's episode. We pick up with Jessie, who has made camp, but she can't sleep and decides to check out the island. After walking around, she gets the feeling she is being watched, so she heads back to camp. Once back, her camp has been ransacked, and she is furious. But as she is thrashing about, Wobbuffet pops out of its ball and is wailing about. It is trying to get Jessie's attention. Once it finally does, it is pointing in a direction that leads inland. Jessie grabs Wobbuffet and heads in that direction. After a while, they come to a lush grove that seems to have had a lot of human activity. This grove seems to be a special kind of berry that grows in it. Jessie has never seen them before, but then Wobbuffet starts to flare, pointing at something. Jessie goes to check it out, and underneath one of the bushes is a small Pokemon. It is cowering in front of Jessie. But then Wobbuffet comes over, and the Pokemon comes out and starts to converse with Wobbuffet. Jessie pulls out her Pokédex to find out that this Pokemon is Wynaut, the baby form of Wobbuffet. The two Pokemon conversate for a little while, and then Wynaut calls out, and all of a sudden, Jessie is surrounded by a crowd of Wynaut. Wobbuffet is trying to tell Jessie what is going on. She doesn't understand what is happening. But before Jessie can decipher the babble that is Wobbuffet, she hears a familiar voice from behind her. She turns, and it's someone she recognizes, the Iron Masked Marauder. He tells Jessie he wasn't expecting someone from Team Rocket to come for him, but it won't matter. He'll take care of her like all of the others. Jessie thinks to herself. She knows that the Iron Masked Marauder was wanted by Team Rocket after betraying them, but she didn't know he was here in Hoenn. Then she puts it all together. He must be the one here destroying this grove, the home of the Wynaut. Jessie then remembers that he is also in possession of the Dark Balls, and all of his Pokemon will be more powerful than usual. The Iron Masked Marauder wastes no time and sends in one of his newest captures, a Flygon. And this thing is mean, but Jessie sees this as an opportunity to try out her newest Pokemon, and she sends in her Lileep. But Wobbuffet isn't going to stand back, as it wants to protect the Wynaut. Jessie's two Pokemon face off against Flygon. Even though it is clearly at a higher level than Lileep and Wobbuffet, the two play a pretty good stall game, with Wobbuffet countering everything, and Lileep managing to pull off a Toxic against Flygon. In the end, Flygon falls, and Jessie, Wobbuffet, and all the Wynaut manage to chase the Iron Masked Marauder from the island. As the sun starts to rise, the time comes for Jessie to leave, as her ship is setting sail. But when she tries to recall Wobbuffet, it refuses. It doesn't want to go. It wants to stay on the island to protect the Wynaut, just in case the Iron Masked Marauder returns. Jessie is saddened by this, but doesn't want to show it. She ultimately decides to leave Wobbuffet there, on the mysterious Mirage Island. A few days pass. Jessie is now close to Sootopolis City, but she has had to stop off on an island that is uninhabited, one of many in the Hoenn region. While there, the captain of the boat informs her that they will be stuck there a few days, as the boat's engines are not starting. Jessie is annoyed, but makes do with this time, training with her Pokemon, mostly with Loudred and Lileep. The training is fruitful, as during the training, Loudred evolves into Exploud, and it is powerful. Jessie has never seen so much power. But only one problem. It won't listen to Jessie now. Every time she gives a command, it attacks her instead. Also, it has decided to attack a group of wild Walrein that live on the north side of the island. But because it is outmatched, it ends up getting beaten by them. Jessie spends about a week overall on the island. During that time, she has made friends with the Walrein and their offspring, the Sfeel. One of these Sfeels is not like the others, though. It won't go anywhere near the main group, and Jesse notices it. It won't go near anyone, but with some patience, I know, this is Jesse we're talking about. She manages to befriend the Sfeel. After the loss of Numel, Jesse has cooled a little bit and learned to temper her emotions toward her Pokemon. As a result, when it comes time for Jesse to leave the island, Sfeel joins her as it has no ties to the island. Jesse decides she will treat Sfeel better than she did with Numel, as she really never took the time to appreciate it. And with that, she arrives in Sootopolis City and the sight of her 6th badge. Now we switch over to Domino. She has been in Pacific Log Town for several weeks now, and there are no traces of Team Aqua. Unfortunately, it seems they have moved on from this place, and she is left with nothing but dead ends. But she does hear about a local legend telling of an island with a pillar reaching into the sky. It's not Team Aqua or Magma, but it is ancient, and it could have something to do with them. And sure enough, upon arrival to the island, Team Magma is present, but it seems they can't get in to the spear pillar. After many failed attempts, they give up. All the while, Domino was keeping a low profile to gather intel. She makes her way onto the main ship, but gets trapped as the ship sets sail. She overhears the leader of Team Magma, Maxie, talking about how they need to find the orb. So they set sail towards their next target, whatever it is. Domino is now along for the ride. Now, we pick up with James. He has been in Lily Cove for about a week. His Pokemon are all in great shape, but Dusclops is giving him some trouble. It prefers to cause mischief instead of listening to James. So James decides to enter a local contest and try to bond with it. It doesn't go so well. James does manage to clear the preliminaries with Dusclops, but not because it listens, but because it puts on a good show due to its mischievous nature. James gets to use a different Pokemon for the battle rounds, and ends up using his Meditite. He ends up in the finals, and it's a familiar face that's his opponent's, Grace and her Medicham. She is trying here for her 5th contest ribbon. The battle with the two gets underway. It pushes James's Meditite to the point of evolving, but ultimately it is not enough to win the ribbon. Grace does tell James that he should consider becoming a coordinator. He has a knack for it. This puts a thought into James's head as he heads back to the Pokemon Center. He then contacts Meowth at the Mount Chimney base and learns that Team Aqua has then moved on from Lilycove City to somewhere near Sootopolis City. James knows his next destination as he heads out. Now, we pick up with Cassidy. She has been doing as Domino ordered her. She's been cleaning up the base, and she's finally got it staffed with Team Rocket grunts. Now, she doesn't know what to do. She does contact Butch. After some conversating, Butch and Cassidy come to the realization that Domino aims to leave them in the dark. She doesn't trust them, and they don't know why. I mean, sure, they did have it out specifically for Jesse and James, but they have been loyal members to Team Rocket for many years. They've had many successful missions, and they've always delivered when Giovanni asked. So why has Domino been sent to Hoenn? They don't get it. And all it's doing is causing animosity between those two with Domino. Ultimately, Cassidy decides that she is not going to stick around. Even though she was ordered to stay put by Domino, she does not want to be stuck in this base. But she knows she can't return to the Mount Chimney base because Meowth is there, and Meowth will report her immediately. After all, he does know everything that's going on with her and Butch being demoted. So, Cassidy then makes the decision to head to Mount Pyre, where Butch is, as he is the only operative from Team Rocket there. It does take several weeks, and along the way, Cassidy does manage to pick up a new Pokemon. Let me introduce you to Cassidy's Tropius. With this and the Pokemon that she took from Jesse, it now brings her to 3. With that, she makes her way to Mount Pyre. It does take her a couple more days, but once she arrives, she meets with Butch. Butch has made some serious progress in establishing a base. The base is secluded on the opposite side of the mountain, where the ruins were found, as they don't want to be spotted. But he has established communication with Meowth at Mount Chimney and has informed Meowth that he is up and running. They are just waiting for support from additional grunts. But Butch does not tell Meowth that Cassidy is there. After Butch ends the call with Meowth, him and Cassidy get to talking. They don't like the way they're being treated. They're being treated like they're Jesse and James, like they're incompetent. There's no reason for it. The two are getting more and more frustrated the more and more they talk about it. Then, out of nowhere, there's a helicopter approaching. And on the side of it, they recognize the symbol. It's Team Magma. The two rush to the top of the mountain, where the ancient ruins are, as that's where the helicopter has landed. They are met with Tabitha and Maxie, the leader of Team Magma. Maxie is a lot more cordial. He's not as aggressive as Archie, and instead of trying to initiate a battle with the two, he talks with them, asking them why they are here, and they try not to give up any information. Maxie insists that what they're doing isn't for the right side, and he says that he may have someone that can persuade them. Butch and Cassidy wants to know what he's talking about, and he says, "We have recently acquired a former associate of Team Rocket. Maybe you know who he is." And then Maxie turns, and out steps out of the helicopter one of the former scientists of Team Rocket, Professor Namba. Namba tells Cassidy and Butch that after his failure in the Whirl Islands, Giovanni wanted him to be dismissed, and he tried to take all of his research from him. So Namba fled to the Hoenn region, but then was contacted by Team Magma. Now he works for Team Magma and helps to try and further their goals. He tells Butch and Cassidy that they are on the wrong side. Magma then turns to Butch and Cassidy and makes them a proposition. Join me and work for Team Magma to help us further our goals in Hoenn, so that way we can ensure the survival of human and Pokemon alike. Alright, and that's all we have for this part. What do you guys think? What's your thoughts on the change up to Jesse's team? How about James and his new Medicham? And what about the fate of Domino? Do you think she's going to be spotted? Let me know in the comments down below. I will see you in the next video.